I mean, in China. So letting you know that. We're at 7 people right now. Let's get yeah. Thanks for the heart, me man. How much are the pros in Brazil? Pros in Brazil in Rio at least are pretty expensive. Like they can charge you up until like 100, even up to $200 for the pros in Rio de Janeiro. Um, if you're looking for pros, I would probably look um for somewhere like Medellin. Medellin is more of a pro type of place. Oh, was good. Good. Uh, Let me see. Any other questions? These are all pro questions, I'm guessing. Any trips coming up? Uh, you what they wanted to see. So just to show them we. Sorry, I just gotta finish something up for work. Give me 1 second. Just see what we can do going from here. One of the other calls flaked. The other guy seemed really confrontational. He refused. All right, let's do this. I just finished work. Um, Top favorite cities in Southeast Asia. Um, my favorite city in Southeast Asia. Um, well, my two favorite places in Southeast Asia are either um, what's it called? Vietnam or Malaysia. Malaysia, specifically Kuala Lumpur, is one of my favorite cities on planet Earth. And then in Vietnam, Da Nang is a great city to go to. That's like the city that everyone's going to nowadays. How do you find normal chicks in Brazil? Don't go to Rio de Janeiro. Go to what's called a second tier city, somewhere like a what's it called? Guyana or anything like that. I mean, I literally just put a video about this up that got like 1 million views. So, you know, check that video. Um, for a first timer to party with women, are you looking to pay for play or are you looking to like pick up women? Um, Give me the lowdown on Makati, Philippines. I don't know why people like ask these questions in such like demanding fashion. I think this is why I don't want to spend too much time. If I start going on like angry rants about stuff, I'm just gonna disconnect because I've been doing that way too much in my life recently. But like, I don't know. Like, is this why you don't have more success with women? Is because you just go up to them and demand stuff? And I found this to be the case with me because like one thing that I push back on a lot is a lot of times people will DM me demanding information from me, and I've stopped answering questions over DM. If you DM me waiting for an answer to a question, it's not happening. If you want to have a private answer to a question that's not on this call, the only way to do that is by paying me for a consultation. Um, I'm not answering questions. Anyway, I would tell people that and they would just start like attacking me. And I'm like, is this why women don't want to fuck you, man? But anyway, Cambodia or Burma worth going to. I haven't been to Burma. I've been to Cambodia. I really like Cambodia. I think the question of like, should you go to Cambodia? If you're asking that question, the answer is probably no. And the reason why is that like Cambodia is a place that you should only go to if it's after your like fourth or fifth time in Asia. Like your first trip in Cambodia should not be into Asia should not be to Cambodia. It shouldn't be your 2nd or your 3rd or your 4th trip either, really. Only really after your 5th trip to Asia should you go to Cambodia, and at that point, if you've already been to Asia 5 times, you're probably not asking me this question in a chat. So, yeah, that's my answer, like, probably not for you. I wouldn't go to Cambodia. I would go to Vietnam, I would go to Malaysia, I would go to Indonesia, and I would go to Thailand way before I went to Cambodia. And then obviously also like Japan and Korea. Um, why that boy got that look to him? I don't know what you're talking about. What about Sao Paulo? I get a lot of questions about Sao Paulo. My feeling about Sao Paulo, man, is that like I just don't think it makes sense for an American to go down to Brazil to visit Sao Paulo because Sao Paulo, at its best, is like a worse version of New York City. So why not just go to New York City? You know what I mean? Like, why are you going all the way to Brazil to go to New York City? I don't. I don't see the point to it. If you're going to Brazil, go to Rio de Janeiro. Go to, you know, all these other amazing beaches, all these other amazing places in the Amazon, all these cool other places you can go to. Don't go to a giant city that's like a Brazilian version of New York. Are there any passport pro destinations in South Asia? Yeah, dude. Bangkok, Vietnam, Philippines. What can you tell me about Venezuela? Someone responded, "Don't go there." That's what I can tell you about Venezuela right now. I can afford to go to all these places. If you're a digital nomad traveling abroad, it's actually a lot cheaper for you to be living abroad than it is for you to be living in the United States. Um, so I've literally just been living outside the United States for 2.5 years now. It's way, way cheaper. And I have a wife too, and I'm paying both of our bills, and it is way cheaper than just paying one person's bills in New York or in Los Angeles. So yeah, it's very cheap. Um, um, Work at our digital nomad, yeah. We're gonna find the Japanese Brazilians in Brazil. Sao Paulo. That's where you find them. You work from home? Yes. Best Caribbean countries. I don't have experiences with the Caribbean, man. I wish I did, but I just don't. Best degrees to work from home and be an expat. Um, I don't know, man. It changes so dramatically. Right now, the best job to be an expat when you work from home is like a sales position because engineers are like forcing to work back in the office, but salespeople can still get away with it because salespeople have always had this like relationship with their job, which is like a love hate relationship where like you have a lot of pressure on you to perform, and if you don't perform, you're nothing. But the beauty of that is that like if you perform, you can just do whatever the fuck you want. So right now, if you want to be digital nomad, sales is kind of the best way to go. I don't think Argentina is a diverse country for data. No, it's not. Argentina is the whitest country on planet Earth. I mean that literally. Who's freakier, Latinas or Brasileiras? Well, Brasileiras are Latinas. If you're talking about his Hispanics or Brasileiras, I think Brasileiras have the reputation of being a lot more promiscuous than the rest of Latin America. Um, Let me see. Serious question. Are you a dating coach? No, not really, but I mean, I can help you guys with that if you have any specific questions. Um, Thoughts on Morocco? I made a bunch of videos about Morocco. Morocco is one of my favorite cities, one of my favorite countries on planet Earth. I highly recommend going to Morocco. Uh, if I were to live abroad, even not being married, I mean, even being married, I would 100% live in Morocco. And then not being married, Morocco is like one of the best places on earth. But Morocco is really cheap, really safe, really pretty on a day-to-day basis. It has a lot to offer in terms of like different cities and stuff. So yeah, Morocco is an unbelievable place. I've never been to Tunisia. Your wife finally playing the field. No, I don't cheat on my wife, man. I'm Catholic. How's the vibe in Lagos Rodrigo? Rodrigo. I've never been. Ever been to Bogota? Yeah, man. Bogota is one of my favorite cities on earth. Bogota was actually my first trip to Latin America and my first solo trip abroad. So I have a fond it's really what made me fall in love with Latin America. So I absolutely love Bogota. Highly recommend people go visit it. What do you think of Polish girls? I'm Polish, born and raised. My both of my parents were born in Polish. I speak Polish. I spent cumulatively like 3 or 4 years in Poland, and I'm married to a Latina. I think that should be the answer. Answers your question. Are you a dating coach? Again, no, but if you want like anybody who wants to have like one-on-one time with me, in my bio, besides the YouTube link, which by the way, go click on the YouTube link in my bio. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm at 160 right now. So please go click on that. I'm gonna start hectoring people about it, and I don't like to hector. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube yet, go click on that. I'm gonna try to get to 170 subscribers by it's 7:15 a.m. right now, so by 7:30 a.m. if we can get another 10 subscribers, that would make me very happy. Otherwise, I'm gonna start like being bitchy and like I don't want that and you guys don't want that. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go subscribe. But anyway, am I a dating coach? No, but if you have questions about that, go to the link in my bio. You'll see an option for an hour-long paid consultation. Go fill out the form and we can talk. Croatia, what's up, bro? Love your content. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm almost done, bro. Don't move. I don't know what that means. Um, Croatia or Slovenia for a 1 month stay. I've never been to Slovenia, but Croatia is a pretty good place for a 1 month stay. I stayed in Split for a month and I really enjoyed it. Split is a beautiful, beautiful city. But if you're planning for this time of year, you shouldn't go to either of them for a month. They're both gonna be freezing. They're like it's just be ugly at this time of year. If you're going this time of year, you should either go to South America or Southeast Asia. The best time to go to Croatia is like May or June. I'm almost done, bro. Don't move. I don't know what you mean by that. I like the funny thing is like you have all these people, like the Carol G person who like jump in my comments and like troll me with like this like lame ass stuff. And they think that like they're making me look ridiculous by doing that, but like you're the one who looks ridiculous. Like I'm here answering travel questions because I have a TikTok account that I'm trying to get to a point where I can start making money off of it so I can start supporting my family so I don't have to have a full-time job anymore. I can just do this. People here who are asking legitimate questions are doing it because they're planning trips and they want help in doing that. So it makes complete sense that they're here. They're not wasting time, right? This is valuable stuff. There are people who I'm literally charging hundreds of dollars to do this, and they're getting this information for free because they're coming to my live. So 100%, right? But like you're literally just wasting your time trolling somebody who you don't know. You're just a loser, is my feeling. But anyway, what was my favorite city in Peru? I've only been to Lima, but Lima is one of my favorite cities on planet Earth. I highly recommend going there. Should I fund my mistress's IRA as well? You shouldn't cheat on your wife. You shouldn't have a mistress. So that's that. Um, Jesteś Polski? Tak, ja jestem Polski. Ja mówię po polsku tylko ja muszę. I need to learn more. I need to like refresh my memory in Polish. Um, why did you marry Venezuela, not a paisa? because I fell in love with a Venezuelan woman. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question. Is the background Korea? Yeah. Which are on Filipinas? I don't find them that attractive, to be honest. Like people love there's all these people who fetishize Filipinas. I don't get it, to be honest. I find them really I find them really off-putting in their appearance, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I also don't like the Philippines as well, so, all of it is just a no for me, but again, there are people who love it, so I'm happy I'm happy for them, um, but it's just not for me. I just don't really like Asians in general. I mean, I love Asia, I love the Asian people, I'm just not, like, aesthetically attracted to Asian women. Thoughts on pay for play? Yeah, I mean, I think pay for play serves a purpose, but you should only really do it for that purpose. There are guys who get obsessed with pay for play and like only do pay for play, and they start justifying it to you where they're like, "Well, every relationship's transactional," blah, 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 blah. And it's like that's not true. It really isn't. And if like that's your view on like life and love, then I honestly feel kind of bad for you. I think pay for play is like if you're in a rut and you need to get out of the rut, it's good for that. If you haven't been with a girl in a while and you need to get some reps in to get your confidence up, it's good for that. If you just have never been with women and you need to like learn how to act around women, it's good for that, right? Like it's good for all those things, right? But it's a means to an end. It's not an end in itself, and you shouldn't get swallowed down that black pill because it can be hard to get out of it. It reminds me a lot of like when I was in high school, like, all those people who like I smoked pot when I was in high school, right? And like I was like, dude, I'm doing drugs because I'm in high school. Like, who cares? But there are all these people who like mythologize it or like, no, it's actually medicinal. It's not an actual drug. I'm not a drug addict. It's something from the ground. I mean, poisons from the ground too. So, but anyway, all that to say, like, don't fall in love with it. Where I got traveled to with 2 to 4 people for mad cheap. Thailand, Vietnam. Vietnam is probably where you want to go. What's your take on Costa Rican women? There's no real such thing as Costa Rican women, just because there's no real such thing as the Costa Rican people, if that makes sense. Like you look at like population numbers of Costa Rica, even 50, 60 years ago, the entire country had a population of like 40,000 people. So most people that you meet in Costa Rica are from somewhere else, or their parents moved there very recently. Which is not to say it's not a beautiful place, beautiful people, nice people, all that type of stuff is very true. But it's not like Colombia has a history going back hundreds of years. Brazil, has a history going back 500 years. You know what I mean? Costa Rica doesn't. That's just the fact of the matter. Um, Thoughts on Eastern Europe? Thoughts on Eastern thanks for the gifts, man. Liam, shout out Liam. Thoughts on Eastern Europe. So I spent a lot of my time as a child in Poland, as I mentioned, and like the idea that Poland right now would be nicer than Western Europe was just like, if you told anybody that, they wouldn't believe you. So much so that like I told my grandmother that. My grandmother's 93. I told her that nowadays Poland is nicer than Germany and England and France. She still doesn't believe me. To be fair, she doesn't leave the house, so, like, that might be why, but, like, it's just such an inconceivable idea to people in Eastern Europe that, like, it would be as nice as it is right now. Yo, thanks for the hat. Um, that being said, if you're talking about specifically about women, I don't like women from Eastern Europe. I don't like the culture of Eastern Europe. It's why I married a Latina. People in Eastern Europe are incredibly cold. It's an incredibly cold culture, and I think that like it can be good for some things. That people in Eastern Europe are pretty efficient. They're pretty smart. But in terms of people that you want to like start families with and spend a lot of time around, you don't really want that with Eastern Europeans, to be honest with you. So My hope with my family is that, you know, my kids take the cold, efficient Eastern European aspect from me and like the warm and cuddly aspects from my Latina wife, and they're able to have a good mix of those two cultures together. But I couldn't subject them to having a Eastern European mother. Um, I mean, I love my mom. My mom is great, but it's just you know. Anyway, how do I feel about Cabo? Cabo's not traveling. I mean, Cabo is America, is what I'm saying. Is it easy to pull a baddie in Colombia? Yeah. I'm torn on Philippines or Brazil. Go to Brazil. Don't go to the Philippines. That's stop being torn. You just I just answered your question for you. Especially if you've never been to Rio de Janeiro, you should go to Rio de Janeiro at least once in your life. Would you say that Brazil is a better place to find girls than Colombia? Yeah, 100%. What annual salary do you recommend for your traveling lifestyle? I actually don't spend that much money. You can easily travel around the world as a digital nomad if you're making like 40K a year or like 50K a year minimum. That's easy. That's like living like a king. Paulie, seriously consider working remotely in Latam. What should be the first place to visit? That depends a lot on like how should I say this? I think as much as I shit on places like Rio de Janeiro and Medellin and stuff, I think that those are good places to visit first. You know what I mean? To like go first and get yourself acclimated. The way they like to think about it is that like if you think about like bowling, they have like those bumpers for kids, and traveling to those types of places is kinda like traveling with bumpers. And people will, like, look down on it and stuff, but, like, if it's your first time traveling internationally and, like, living abroad in Latin America, then, like, take the bumpers, man, you know what I mean? Go to places that are easier for Americans, and then go to, like, Bolivia, you know what I mean? Or, like, Ecuador. Um, what do I do for a living? I'm a digital nomad sales rep. What about Indian women? I don't really like Indian culture. Um, I get into a lot of fights about India on here, I guess. I don't really feel like doing that right now, if that's all right. But yeah, I just don't really like the culture of India. So I don't really like Indian women because of that. What about places to work as an English teacher? Um, I don't know. I have some friends in Thailand who work as English teachers. There seems to always be a supply of jobs for them. You should do a best locations for short kings. Um, sure. Talk about my dark past, Paulie. What is my dark past that I should talk about? Do you live in Latin America today or US? That's actually an interesting question. So me and my wife right now are on another trip around the world. We're in Korea right now. We're ending our trip in 2 weeks, and then we're gonna be in Paraguay starting in December. We're gonna be in Paraguay for a month, then we're gonna go to Argentina for like 2 or 3 months, and then in April, we're planning on going going to Poland, because we wanna have kids soon, and so we're planning on, like, giving birth in Poland and living there for, like, 3 or 4 years and then traveling around Europe a lot. Hi, Paulie. Hey, how's it going? South American equivalent of Vietnam. Paulie, yeah, no, I appreciate that. Um There really isn't, to be honest. Vietnam is it's just a unique, special, incredible place. The closest would be Asuncion, Paraguay. I like your videos. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Oh wow, do you live in South America? I lived in South America for a few years, but right now we're traveling. As a Chinese guy, I think Eastern Europeans have a similar culture to us. To be honest, we kind of do have a similar culture to you. Sorry, I have a lot of comments I need to, like, catch up on, so how many kids do you want? We want 6. 6 kids. What do you think about Passport Bros? I think that, like, the term means so many different things, man. Like, I saw somebody in my comments the other day say, like, they're not passport bros, but they're like geomaxers. So I'm gonna start using that as a term. They're cold on the outside, but when you get to know, they're extremely welcoming. He's talking about Polish people. No, no, they're not. I'm Polish, man. My entire family's Polish. What are you talking about lecturing me about Polish people? Like, yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, if you're a stranger, like, yes, once they get to know you, they're really nice and stuff, but, like, there's nothing more than that, and, like, especially if you're a family member, being Eastern European is, like, very difficult, so Passport Bro, Final Boss, GMXing, Final Boss, yeah. Latinos seem very warm, they are. They're incredibly warm, nice people, I absolutely love them. They use you and family as a mess. Is Rio even safe? It's not. Rio is not a safe city. If I want to go to Brazil for 2, 3 weeks, do I need to learn Portuguese to have a good experience? No. Again, like if it's your first trip to Brazil, and even if it's your first trip to Latin America, go to Rio de Janeiro and you're fine. Just use the translator app on your phone. Stay in the safe spaces, and you'll be okay. Um, and planning a solo trip to Rio, dude. Rio de Janeiro again, like, it's one of those things where, like, people wanna act as if, like, you know, a lot of times the most obvious answer is the obvious answer because it's just right, and Rio de Janeiro is one of the most beautiful cities on planet Earth, so I think everyone should visit at least once. Costa Rica or Philippines? I like Costa Rica more. Thoughts on German women? Um, I, I don't like German women. Uh, so I don't like Germans. Not gonna lie, are you not worried about girls setting you up in Rio? Not really. I got set up in Rio actually. If you guys another like link plug, but if you go to the link in my bio and you go to my Substack, you'll see the first article that I wrote is about a time I almost got killed in Rio de Janeiro. Just the hook is I got this text message from this girl where she said, "He's coming to your apartment right now to kill you, and this is in America. There's no judge or jury. There's only an executioner." Which I gotta say was a pretty dope way to get threatened. It's a dope way. Um, Let me see. Me going to Brazil to pick up chicks. Are you a passport bro? I don't know what that means. So people ask the same questions over again. So Polish women are great. They're not. Polish women are not great. What extra shots have you had to get? I haven't gotten. Don't have a 6 kid. Anything happens to your wife, and that's a nightmare to handle alone. George is here trying to start a fight. Um, um, I don't have any resources for people who want to be an English teacher. Um, I'm 53, divorced, and want more kids, but I want a Caucasian woman. What countries do you recommend? Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, and Paraguay. Why don't you ever show your wife? That's actually an interesting question. I know this one is a troll, but um that's actually an interesting question. The reason why is because so my superpower, my personal superpower is that I do not care what people think about me at all. So I look at my comments and you look at my comments in my videos and there's just like tons of just horrible, horrible shit of people saying some of the worst things imaginable to me. And I don't care because those the joke's on them because when you comment that type of stuff, it increases my engagement, it increases my views, and it makes more money for me. So say all the mean shit you want in my comments. I'm perfectly happy with that. I don't care. And for me personally, like, I say this like genuinely, one of the nice things about being married is that you really stop caring about anyone's validation or opinion. Like My wife's opinion is the only thing that matters to me and, like, being able to provide for my future kids, right? So, I don't care what people say. My wife, however, opposites attract. She really cares about what people say, and any criticism just destroys her. So that's why we don't put her on the videos because people are going to put a lot of nasty comments, and she doesn't need that. I don't need that. And, I'm not going to give people the the satisfaction of causing us mental turmoil. Where do you plan on living long term? We're gonna live in Poland for like 3 to 4 years. I'm looking for a wife too. I'm early 30s and above average looking. Thoughts? I typically recommend going to places that are called second tier cities. So you want to go to places that don't have a lot of going there. So I told you to go to Rio or Medellin. Go there first, and then you want to go to places like La Paz, Bolivia, or Lima, or places like that. Places where you don't have a lot of competition. Do you cheat, bro? No, I don't cheat. I was right about Jenna Ortega. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Places for people who only know English that are cheap. Asia. Asia is a place that is cheap, that people that only know English. In Latin America, when people know English, it starts to get really expensive very quickly. So, what was your childhood life? I don't care. You're my favorite content creator. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Does your wife allow you to cheat? No. I think it's awesome you want 6 kids. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, we really want a big family. That's important to us. Um, any good resources for English teacher? I'm not sure. You're very insightful. I enjoy your well-developed opinions. You remind me of a young, more handsome. What's your opinion on opinion women? I don't have any opinion on Egyptian women. I'm going to Egypt the first time in 2 weeks, so I'll tell you then. Asia and Eastern Europe are so much safer than Latin America. That is true. Um, Asia is incredibly safe. Latin America is not. Well, I'm traveling with my wife, so you know. Um, so that's why. What age do you feel is a solid age for men to get married? I mean, in all honesty, like I wish I would have met my wife when I was 18 and gotten married then, but I think early 30s, given the current culture, is a pretty good time. So like 30, 31, 32. I got married at 33. I was pretty happy with that. My wife and I are pretty happy. I was able to live a pretty good single life, and now I literally like one thing that I like about the traveling that I've done and the reckless experiences that I've had in my life is that I feel no compulsion to cheat on my wife at all. I'm just kind of happy with where I am right now in my life. Have I ever gotten attacked in Latam? I've almost got killed one time, man, in Brazil. Thoughts on India? Dude is just provoking me right now. India is my least favorite country on planet Earth by far. I hate India. I hate India. I hate the culture. The food is amazing, which, by the way, shows how much I dislike it. Because as you can tell, I'm not in great shape. So the fact that there's a country, India is probably my second favorite food country in the world, and even so, it is my least favorite country on earth. How many countries do you visit per year on average? I don't know, about 15, something like that. Let me see. Yay, my favorite TikTok. Ah, man, thanks. I appreciate that. Should I borrow learning Portuguese to visit Brazil? No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't learn Portuguese to visit Brazil. If you're gonna stay in Brazil for like 4 months, 6 months, if you're gonna move there permanently, then yeah, learn Portuguese, but not, you know, not for a short period of time. Cheapest place with the best food, Vietnam. Vietnam is the cheapest place with the best food, and it's the safest. Just go to Da Nang, Vietnam, and like don't overthink things. How do you get flights? Any tips to save money? Yeah, so the big thing that I do, I mean, again, you don't really do this as like a digital nomad, is like I'll like I'll move between regions every like 6 months or so. And then in that region, I'm checking Google Flights for like the cheapest places and the cheapest days. And that's a lot of what determines where I end up going is like, you know, what is the cheapest flight? What's the cheapest location to go to? Um, all right. So I've held off on doing this because it's been a pleasant experience so far, but we're gonna have to do this right now. So as you see here, at the top, it says subscribe to my YouTube, link in bio. The reason why I'm doing this lives is because I want to get my YouTube to 1,000 subscribers so I can start making money off my YouTube as well. I'm trying to create multiple channels of income so I can full time so I can give you guys better content. We have 51 people on this live right now. I know for sure that not all 51 of you are subscribed. I'm guessing maybe 10 of you are subscribed, which means that we have legitimately about 30 people who on this live right now who are not subscribed. And look, if I keep on doing lives and people don't subscribe, then I'm going to stop doing lives because it's there's no point in me doing this. If I'm only doing this for people to subscribe and no one's subscribing. It's 7:40 right now. I can literally barely see. I'm so tired. It's 7:40 in the morning. I just did a full day's worth of work. I can barely see. It's so tiring. And I'm here answering your fucking questions about traveling. So I think the least that you guys can do is subscribe. So there are 44 people in this live right now. Can I get at least 10 subscribers? Can we get to 175 subscribers by 8 a.m. my time? 20 minutes. I'm looking for fuck it. Let's get 17 subscribers in 20 minutes. There are 40 people on this live. 40 people. Just click the link in the bio, click on the YouTube, click subscribe, and then come back. It's that simple. Um, I'm gonna start being a bitch about this if people don't subscribe soon, but I'm gonna give it some time. Anyway, I just subscribed. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. What about Sri Lanka and Bangladesh? I've never been there, so I can't tell you. I just subscribed. Awesome. Should fast, bro. I think that means subscribe, bro. Why is he crying? What do you mean, why am I crying? I'm not crying, bro. I think I'm subscribed. Well, if you're not subscribed, if you don't know, there's only one way to find out. Christian Andres just subscribed. I appreciate it. I just subscribed, but can you answer my question? Sure. Let me see. Um, I'll subscribe to. Is there dating apps? Just do Tinder. How are you able to do this? I work as a remote sales closer. Someone asked me about US. This is actually an interesting question. So I'm going to take a second to answer it, but let's see what the subscriber numbers are. Oh fuck, we got a lot of subscribers. So thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to hold off on being a bitch about it for a while. Hopefully, we can get two more though. If we can get two more, get to 170, I'll be very happy. But if we can just get two more people subscribe, two people just hop off quickly and subscribe. But anyway, the time zone differences, they fucking kill you, man. So Thailand is 11 hours difference, right? So 4 a.m. Thailand is 5 p.m. Eastern time. And that's actually a pretty good time zone difference because like if you think about it, like if you're just at home and you're just like an insomniac, you're probably going to sleep at 2:33 anyway. And again, like the nice thing about that is that you can wake up whenever you want. So in Thailand, you go to sleep at 4, you wake up at 11, and you're good. And then you take a little bit of a nap before work, right? You go to the Philippines and it's 5 a.m. And that's a little tougher because when it's 5 a.m., you have to have like discipline to go to sleep right after. Like you have to when you finish work at 5 a.m., you have to be asleep by 5:15. Otherwise, it fucks up your entire schedule. Like it really fucks things up. I'm in Korea right now, and it finishes at 6 a.m. Oh well, it finished at 6 a.m. for a while. Now it finishes at 7 a.m. And it is just impossible, man. I have insomnia. I am so fucking excited to leave Korea. I love Korea, but the time differences just destroyed me. So, do you still need the clot shot to travel? How do you respond to the passport bro allegations? I don't know what the passport bro allegations are. What do you mean the passport bro allegations? My the initial name um the initial name of my channel was Passport Bro Coach. So I'm okay with the Passport Bro. Oh, COVID. No, you don't need the COVID shot. What about the Peruvian stereotypes? Yeah, man. I mean, I feel bad about that, but like a lot of other Latinas basically have a stereotype about Peruvians that they're very ugly, and like most other Latinos will make jokes about how ugly Peruvian women are. I don't think it's fair, but that's just what it is. I'm just relaying the information. Please don't visit our country. What country are you from? Um, what country do I live? I move around. I'm making false accusations about our country, the Philippines. What false allegations have I made about the Philippines? This is actually the funny thing is that like there are people who claim I lie about countries, and like, look, you can disagree with my opinion about it, but my opinions are always based in facts, right? Like I think that like what happens is, when you go to a country, I think most countries you go to, everyone agrees on the pros and the cons. It's just a question of like for example, like you know, let's take Bali, right? The pros of Bali, some of the most beautiful beaches on planet Earth. You It's very cheap. It's very westernized, so that like it's very easy for first time travelers to go there. You can also get stuff like pizza, hamburgers, whatever you want, right? The downsides of Bali is that you can't really get Indonesia or Bali culture, and it is a little bit too westernized, right? Those are the pros and cons, right? And I think that people who like Bali and people who hate Bali both agree that those are the pros and cons. It's just a question of what's important to you. And that's the thing about Philippines is that like I don't think I'm lying about the Philippines. It's just if you like the Philippines, you don't mind the cons. And if you like the Philippines, and if you don't like the Philippines, then the cons are pretty important to you, right? Um, what are the best Dominican Republic girls? I don't know, maybe the Dominican Republic. Let me see. Let me see. Have I been to Switzerland? No, I haven't. What about Chilean girls? Chilean girls are like Argentinian girls, but a lot more conservative. Oh shit, that's harsh. I'm guessing that's about the Peruvian girls. I mean, yeah, it's harsh, man. That's just their opinion. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, though, right? So, like, whatever you think is beautiful is the most important thing. It's not what other people think about the girl that you're with. So, if you've been a drop dead gorgeous Peruvian woman, I'm happy for you. Um, and really the most important thing in life, man, just to do like a more of like a larger picture. The most important thing in life is for you to be happy, right? And like you really shouldn't care about other people's opinions. That's why like this guy's like, what do you say about the passport bro allegations? I'm like, I don't give a shit about your fucking allegations, man. Like I care about growing this channel, making money off of it, and then literally any time that I'm not spending on this channel, I'm spending with my wife. So, you know. Let me see. Thoughts on the United States. I would leave the United States personally. Um, you know, that's that's my opinion. Just really overpriced. There's a lot of headache. There's a lot of fighting. Women suck. You know, um, Argentina baddies are they the best in South America? I mean, it depends on what you want, man. I mean, if you're into white Latinas, then Argentinians are the best. If you're not, if you want a mestizo, they're not the best. I like short brown girls, so Argentina is not the place for me. Do I live in the US? No, I don't live in the US. I haven't lived in the US for 2.5 years. South Korea or Japan? It's funny, man. Do I still have citizenship? Yeah, I still have US citizenship. Um, South Korea or Japan? I actually much prefer Japan to South Korea, man. And that's one thing, like, if Japan never existed, I think I would like South Korea a lot more. But Japan does exist, and I just keep on comparing it to Japan, and I just like Japan a lot more than South Korea, to be honest. Um, Thoughts on French women? Um, Pretty negative, I would say. You want, Latinas, and again, I'm not talking about like Latinas in like places like Rio de Janeiro. I'm talking about Latinas in like, like good paisa conservative girls. Their entire focus is on being mothers and wives. French girls are like, crazy leftists whose focus is on like smoking cigarettes, doing drugs, and reading Simone de Beauvoir, right? So, you know, um, they're not going to be for that as much because they're more interested in smoking cigarettes by the Seine River. Um, how much luggage do you bring? Me and my wife together have like one bag that we bring. I mean, we have two backpacks, and then we have like one bag that we bring for both of us that we've been living out of for like 7 months now. Um, what about water? You should always buy water from a store. But you can't have too much. Yeah, I agree. I think that happiness is being happy with what you have. Um, Top 5 countries in South America you recommend. Dude, there are only like 8 countries in South America. Do I plan on owning property? No, not really. Maybe me and my wife are thinking about owning like a farm in Poland, maybe. But all right, I'm gonna do one last push for subscribers. If you guys can subscribe, we have 35 people on here. I'm trying to get to 180 subscribers by the end of the by the end of the live. So if you can subscribe to my YouTube, so click on the link in my bio, click on the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then come back here. I need 8 more subscribers to hit my goal. So if you guys can please just click subscribe, it'd be really appreciate. Yeah, yeah, definitely, dude. Matthew, did you subscribe? Let's get 8 more subscribers in 8 minutes. That's the goal. 1 subscriber a minute. Let's get to let's get to 180 subscribers. You subscribed. Awesome. Should Passport Bros go to Africa? Yeah, why not? If you want to go to Africa. I just have no real compulsion to go to Africa. So, that's why I haven't. Also, like one problem with Africa is that like I was talking about earlier, like the way that I travel is I go to one geographic area and then I bounce around it for like 5 or 6 months. Africa doesn't have a budget airline, right? So, like for example, if you're flying, so one of the things that makes traveling international economical is that if you are living in an Airbnb, that's like $600, and then if you have a flight from one country to another, that's $150, right? So you're paying like $800 a month in living expenses, right? Compare that to rent in America, where you're paying $1,300 a month. You're saving $500 a month, right? But if that flight goes from 150 to 400 to 500, then it sounds being economical. And Africa doesn't have a budget airline to make those flights economical. So it's much less economical to travel around Africa than it is to travel around Southeast Asia. So that's the main reason why I haven't gone there. Thought you were a bro. Why you have a wife? Because I fell in love with an incredible woman, and so we got married. Um, yeah, subbed. Awesome. Have you ever been to Italy? I've been to Italy twice. Um, I've been to Rome. So I was in Italy 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It was amazing. Best experience of my life. And then I went to Rome this year, and it was the worst experience of my life. So take that as you will. As an American, would you date a Russian or Ukrainian? Um, yeah, sure, why not? What's what's the problem? All right, 7:53. We're at 174. We need 6 more subscribers in the next 7 minutes. Here, guys, I'll make you a deal. If I get 6 more subscribers by 8 AM, I'll give you guys an extra 20 minutes. If I don't, then I get to log off and go to sleep. So either way, I win. But 6 minutes, 6 subscribers. If you guys want me to talk for another 20 minutes, click subscribe to my YouTube. If you don't care, then don't subscribe. Who cares? Just subscribed. Awesome, dude. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Do you have kids? Will they be bilingual? My kids are actually going to be trilingual. We don't have kids yet. We're hoping to have kids by next year, but they're going to be speaking English, Polish, and Spanish. Um, As a black man, what country do you think is best? I don't know because I'm not a black man, but if you go to my page, it's probably a lot more further down now, but there's a video I made, basically asking people this question, like, what are the best countries for black men? So you can go click on that and you go watch that video, and then, I mean, read the comments. They'll let you know that. I might pin that. Um What am I offering? What do you mean, what am I offering? Bolivia has really good upper class women. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any country has good upper class women. I don't think that exists as a concept. I think upper class women are terrible, in my opinion. The politics between America and Russia and the history, that's why. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though, man. I mean, like, I think people like let politics infect too much of their brain, man. Like, who really cares? Like, if you are you to close yourself off from falling in love with somebody that could be your soulmate, could be the mother of your children, could be the reason why you wake up every morning, could be the best part of going to sleep at night, could give you that warm sensation in your heart every time you see her. When you're on your deathbed and you're thinking about your life, all of your thoughts are about the times you had with her because those are, by definition, the best thoughts that you have. You can give up all of that because of Putin. I mean, who gives a shit? Plus, like, I mean, this is a thing that, like, you see in the book 1984, but, like, in 5 years, we're probably gonna be best friends with Russia. You know what I mean? The shit changes so often. You shouldn't define your own life by that type of bullshit. I think it's just silly. Anyway, 4 minutes, 4 more subscribers we need. I'm at 176 subscribers. We need 4 more by 8 AM Korea time, which is in 3 minutes. Again, there are 40 people on this. I'm sure there are at least 3 of you that have not subscribed yet. I'm sure there are at least 4 of you that haven't subscribed yet. And if I don't get at least 4 more, I'm exhausted. I'm going to be going to sleep. So just letting you guys know, if you want me to stay, click subscribe to my YouTube. Go to link in bio, click subscribe. It says office hours. No, I don't have any package deals or anything. If you're interested in getting like a personalized like travel thing for anybody, again, in my link in my bio, you can go click on that, and then you can go click and sign up for a personalized hour-long travel consultation where I'll walk you through your travel plans, your passport bro plans, all of these types of things, and help answer your questions, put a plan together, all of that type of stuff. So if you're interested in that, you can go and sign up. You know, that's trilingual. Awesome. Are you Polish? Make sure to teach your, yeah, Polish. We're gonna teach them. We're actually gonna, you know, get them to live in Poland for a while. What city in Vietnam to live? Ho Chi Minh City is a great city. Da Nang is a great city too. What happens if I don't get the 4 subscribers? I'm going to sleep, dude. If you guys want me to stay around and answer questions, I'm going to, I need some subscribers. Might do that after buy the tickets. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Like if you like the most useful time to sign up for a travel consultation is before you buy the tickets because you'll be talking to me to find out where you want to go. I'll help you find the most affordable tickets. I'll help you find the best Airbnb deals. I'll hook you up with the best locations to go to. We'll talk through all the locations, all the places you want to travel to and find the best one. Like that's the value of talking to me. Like once you've already figured out a place that you want to go to, you can just Google and you'll get the answer. You get all the answers that you need. You know what I mean? The actual value of talking to me is talking to me before you book the tickets, because that's first of all, you'll save more than $100 by doing that. But two, like that will actually be the value of defining of getting a good trip versus a great trip. All right, so how much is the consult? It's $150. Where shall we subscribe? TikTok? No, wait. Matthew said yes. No, that's not the answer to the question. Click the link in my bio, click on my YouTube, and then subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't subscribe to my TikTok. My TikTok already has enough subscribers to it. I mean, obviously, I want more, but it's not the most important thing. All right, so we're at 176 right now. I'm gonna give people an extra 2 minutes, and if not, I'm really fucking tired. I'm gonna go to sleep. So you guys have 2 minutes more, 8:02, to get to either send me some final questions that you want answered or click subscribe. Those are the two options. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, not to the TikTok. um yes. I'm guessing the reason why we don't have any more questions is because people are subscribing to the YouTube channel. 177. Is it as dense with women as Colombia? Yeah, dude. Um, how did I learn about the characteristics of women of different nationalities of going to those different countries and talking to people, all that type of stuff. Um, KB from Barstool shouted you out on their podcast today. That's not true. Really? Yo, Hank, send me a DM. Yak stream. Is it yeah, dude, send me the fucking timestamp. That's awesome. Wait, I got shouted out on a YouTube channel with 170,000 subscribers? That's fucking crazy. Yo, Hank Mardukas, you just bought everyone 10 more minutes, man. But I'm gonna need that timestamp. Can, can you just put it in the chat, man? Give me a minute. All right. I mean, Hank just fucking hooked it up, man. So I have no other option but to just wait for this shit. I'm so narcissistic. I'm gonna need to know the answer of when I'm shouted out on this chat. That is fucking crazy, man. That people, it's funny because like on this live a couple times, I had a couple people join who like, I mean, not to like shout myself out too much, but it's just a surreal experience to me of like being like an internet personality that people actually care about. Like literally a month and a half ago, I had less than 10,000 followers. So this is all a new experience to me. And so, um, like last week, I had this guy join. I forgot his name, but he had like 500,000 followers or something, and he started talking, and literally the entire chat turned to people asking him questions, which I didn't mind because he's a bigger name than me anyway. But like the cool thing was that like at one point someone was like, "Wait, you follow this account?" He's like, "Yeah, man. Passport Paul is one of my favorite accounts on TikTok." And I was like, "Wait a second. There's a guy with 500,000 followers, and I'm his favorite account on TikTok." Or not his favorite, but, like, I'm, like, one of his favorites, like, that was surreal, man. Anyway, Hank Mardukas, lay it on us. Where's the timestamp? Go to 1:31. That's 1 hour 31, right? By the way, I'm just gonna add this right here. Um, contact, um, um anyway, let's see this. Um, the Yak stream. So 131. He's referencing that video. Dude, he studied this entire video. That's a shout out. Anyway, awesome, Hank. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's do 20 more minutes. We'll do 8:20. The chat was gassing you too. Fuck, man. Yeah, dude, nobody told me that, man. I'm starting to become, what job did you have, man? I want it. Um, the chat was gassing you, bro. Fuck. I'm just getting high on my own supply right now. Um, anyway, I don't even care if you guys subscribe at this point. I mean, I do, but we only have 32 people on here right now, so I'm guessing most people have subscribed already. Don't be selfish, big bro. What do you mean don't be selfish? What job did you have, man? I wanted. I'm a remote sales rep, so I work for a company where like I just sell stuff. The nice thing is I can travel internationally and I can like, see the world and, build up this TikTok channel at the same time. So, you know, it's nice. Love your show, bro. Thanks, man. The funny thing is the guys talking about me giving the hyper specific stuff, which like I do obviously do that. Like I know that I do that. But the funny thing is that like I actually don't like making those videos. Like, the videos that pop off the most are the ones that I like making the least. I like, making some of the more esoteric ones no one watches, but what happens is, like, I'll go for, like, a week or 2 and make those videos and no one watches them, and then, like, I'm like, "Fuck, okay, I need to get some views," and then I make, like, the hyper specific views. Um, um, it's crazy. Oh my. Sorry, I'm just texting my friends about this. This is crazy. Uh, 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 advice on let me see. Hating get to you. You know what's funny though? Like, actually, like, when I started this channel, I got like a lot of ladies hating on me. Um, and then nowadays, I actually have a lot of ladies who like actually like the channel. And I think the reason why is because like there's a lot of like misogynistic passport bro content that's like women hating. For me, I'm more of I'm anti-feminist. I'm a traditionalist, but I also don't like I'm not a woman hater. You know what I mean? So like I think that's why a lot of the women like my content is because I'm not coming out of a place of like hatred. I'm coming out of a place of just like, hey, you know, this is what you should be doing. So how do you keep traveling, and are they in the USA? Yeah, my friends are in the USA. I've been moving cities and stuff for such a long time that, I I just have like a whole suite of friends who I just keep in touch with. Friends when I lived in New York, friends when I lived in LA, San Francisco. Um I love the content. I love to hear more about Poland. What would you like to hear about Poland, man? I've gotten to a point where like I need to like ask follow-up questions a lot of times when people aren't specific enough. Like, love to hear about Poland. It's a country in Central Eastern Europe. Um, found most recent iteration was founded in the year 1920 until it was invaded by the Germans in 1939. It was liberated in 1945. Then it was under Russian rule until 1989. You I'm thinking about Krakow. Krakow is a good city. Me and my wife are planning on living near Krakow, to the south of it. I think Poland is generally better when you don't live in the big cities. I mean that's all of Europe, but like, you know, Poland at least like the countryside is all Polish, while the cities are becoming a little bit more metropolitan. Um, how are the girls in Paraguay? Um, are you Catholic? How are the girls in Paraguay, bro? Yo, chill out, man. Chill the fuck out. Stop asking the same questions over and over again. Safest place for tourism in Latin America. That actually answers the other person's question. I think Paraguay is one of the safest places to go in Latin America. The problem is that like there's nothing to really there's nothing to post on Instagram in Paraguay, which is why the reason why most people travel is to post things on Instagram, and there's no Instagram postings on in Paraguay. Um, am I Catholic? Yeah, me and my wife are Catholic. We're very religious. We go to church every Sunday. Um, I can give a little spiel on Catholicism. Like my little 5 second spiel on it is that like I think a lot of guys want a traditional woman. They say that, but like what tradition exists that doesn't have religion as a part of it? like your religion is a way to reinforce the rules that you're both abiding by, the rules that you're both abiding by. So I think it's very useful in like having like a nice like healthy relationship because like you know you um, you know, even if you want to, even if you agree to have like a secular traditional relationship, at the end of the day, it's like, why do we have these roles? Because we both agreed upon it. Okay, great, that's fine. But tomorrow we could change the agreement. One of us could wake up and say we want to sleep around. And who are you to tell me not to do that? Right. But if you have a religious institution backing behind it, if you're like, hey, here is 2,000 years of history of our people, of how we did things as Christians, here's what the Bible says, it allows you to have much more of a solid foundation when you're building a relationship. And that's why I think that people in their 20s are much more anti-religious and people in their 30s are much more religious. Is when in your 20s, you're much more about just like breaking things down and figuring out new ways of doing things. And so you don't really care that much if like your relationships break down, if you get fired from your job. I mean, you do care, but you really don't fundamentally care. Versus like when you're in the 30s, you really care. Like these things are the foundations of your life. People are dropping like flies, but yeah, thank you. 34. Um, to be honest, I do the whole Passport Bro thing is kind of as a Trojan horse to get people to the Catholic faith, but that's more of a long play. How are the girls in Paraguay? The girls in Paraguay are pretty white in general. They're typically a lot more conservative than girls in a lot of other countries in that area. Um, and it's a much better place to pick up women than pretty much anywhere else in Latin America. I met my wife through a dating app. She hates the story, but I think it's a great story. We literally just happened to match with each other on Tinder. We went on a date with each other, and literally within our first date, we were both like, "Yep, this is exactly the person that I want to marry." And then we literally have spent every moment with each other since. So awesome. This is funny because like I'll like be feel reticent talking about my Catholic faith, and then I'll like say one thing about Catholicism, and all my comments are just like "fuck yeah, yeah, Catholicism," and I'm like, okay, well, I guess people like it a lot more than I thought they did. I guess I can talk about this a little more than I wanted to originally, um, which is I would say that in a good way, but are there Christians in Vietnam? Yeah, dude. We actually went to a really good service in a church in Ho Chi Minh City. It's by the river. If you fly into Ho Chi Minh City, it's like between the airport and the river. It's a really great church. I really like it. I highly recommend it. Um, I met a Venezuelan too. Didn't have to travel. Okay, I don't give a shit, man. The So I and by the way, CKK, I'm gonna answer your question in a second. But like the funny thing about narcissists, because I deal with a lot of narcissists now, because there are so many people who will come into my lives, brag like this, or like try to brag in my comments and stuff. And the thing about narcissists that's kind of pathetic about narcissists is that narcissists, um, their entire life is based upon positioning themselves higher than you, of demonstrating to you that they are better than you. But because of that, your opinion of them is absolutely everything. Right? So at the same time that they are trying to prove that they are superior to you, their entire self-worth is determined by your opinion of them, which makes them fundamentally below you. Right? So it's this person who is prostrating in front of you, being like, please approve of me. So that he can then turn around and say, ha, you approve of me? I'm so much better than you. And it's kind of sad and pathetic that when people do this type of stuff is like, so, that's great, man. You met a Venezuelan too. I didn't have to travel. Fantastic. I don't give a shit. I constantly have people in my comments who are like trying to aura farm, who are trying to be like, yeah, man, I've traveled to way more places than you. Or like what people will do a lot of times is they'll start a really nitpicking argument in my comments to try to prove that they actually know a lot more about traveling than I do, and then, like, I'll, like, ask them about it, and it'll turn out to be just, like, a completely semantic BS thing. Because like, if I'm making a minute-long video, I'll literally, you know, I literally can only do that. Like, I literally include so much stuff there, right? So I have to cut things out, and that anyway, whatever. Anyway, Timo, the point is that you're a fucking loser, is the point that I'm trying to make, that you care about my opinion of you. But the question of how do you navigate the negative connotation around passport bros? I don't care, to be honest. That's how I navigate it. I really don't give a shit. Um, the beautiful thing about being married is that there's only one person whose opinion I care about, and it's not any of you guys'. So you guys can laugh at me. You guys can say whatever you want. You can say whatever negative things you want about me. I don't give a shit. The only thing I care about is my wife, and eventually being able to earn enough money from this channel that I can support our future family. So, you know, and I think and like, I think that's the opinion that you all should have also, right? Is that there's so many guys that I know in America who really care about the opinion of women in America. And I'm like, but those women aren't fucking you. So what do you care what they think? Like they're not gonna fuck you anyway. What, you care that they disapprove of you and don't fuck you? Like who gives a shit? But like I have friends who are petrified of of moving abroad to pick up women because I don't want to be a passport bro. It's like, okay, but you're a virgin, bro. I mean, not a virgin, but like I have a friend who've been telling to move abroad for over a year, and he still hasn't done it. And I'm like, bro, like this entire time you haven't been with a woman. So who cares what people think? Um. Anyway, I just went on blood things. That was just a mean response. Um, yeah, I mean, if you wanna try to flex, man, I apologize for taking it that way. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being a dick, man. I apologize, Timo. I just have a lot of people who say that type of stuff and mean it in a dickish way. So, you know, if that's not how you meant it, man, I apologize. I'm really sorry about that for being a dick. I'm being genuine, man. Um, any advice on Portugal? I haven't been to Portugal, man. I've been to Spain. I spent a month in Madrid. I don't recommend it, but you might like the smaller cities in Portugal. But anyway, I told you guys I would give you guys an extra 20 minutes. The 20 minutes are over. Um, I have a I have a private consultation tomorrow at this time, but I'll be back probably Wednesday. So talk to you guys later.